So, who am I?
I'm a wildlife photographer, artist, illustrator, and creative, but I'm also nobody.
I feel encouraged to create a series of videos that I've always wanted to create, highlighting about the importance and the current situation about our forests. And coming from the wildlife side, being a photographer and for watching wildlife for the last 6 years, I've seen a decline in the quality of forests. So I'm hoping to share that in this video and covering something aspects and perspectives and information that I've heard from my peers and people who are actually working on the ground. And so hopefully that gives you more information. I hope this video will be informational for you. But if you want to know about a specific aspect, please let me know in the comments. So I will read them and cover that in the next video. I hope you enjoy. You can see the map of Singapore, and I just want to zoom out to show you the region of Southeast Asia. You can see we are like right in the smack of surrounded by different countries with very different and high biodiversity. So obviously Singapore, we have very high biodiversity in our small space, and we are just at the tip of the Malay Peninsula. So our endemicism, which is referring to species that only can be found in that region or space. So we have a lot of endemic species. We share all the way up to maybe south of Thailand. Even Malaysia, there are mountain ranges that have other endemic species, and Tioman Island as well here. That's for our regional biodiversity. So this video is gonna be focused on where are our forests. We have two main areas, like two very large. One is the Western catchment, and the other one is obviously the most popular one, which is the Central catchment, because it's made up of different parts. For the Central catchment, you probably might have heard Mandai, MacRitchie, which is at the bottom, Upper Pierce, Lower Pierce, Seletar, Thomson Nature Park, and Bukit Timah and Bukit Batok. Now Pasir Ris is getting a lot of attention because of the video created by Jaya Prakash and Dan Ing, highlighting the residents and the diversity that can be found in that area. But we are more than just that. We have a lot of other places that people may not even be interested in, so they are not aware of how much things we can actually find on our island. And our southern islands have our marine biodiversity, which is huge, by the way, because we are in the tropical area. There's a lot of thriving lives in the center at the equator, where the sun gives us the most energy, and it pass on to the whole food web and ecosystem. Just to briefly show you what it like. So our central catchment, we have a bit of primary forest, but they are all away from the main path over here. So the whole loop is like 10 kilometer. Primary forests mean that there is very little to no human presence at all. So there's no traffic, there's no trampoline. Plant diversity is more or less like pristine and original and native. So for secondary forests, where the farming have conquered there before, so the soil quality is affected, and you have all the foreign species growing in the same places. So that is like the intervention of the human. And so you have very nice boardwalk in this area, Pad Thai and Brunas, and Lonely Trail here, and even there's a big golf course up down here. Jelonton Tower, where you can most of the birders come and look at the canopy and visiting bird that might come. Or there are a few times that the Malayan flying fox actually came over here. And the rifle range is a very nice less traffic area, and we have a very nice treetop walk, but it's closed currently, maybe due to the COVID, because the bridge is very narrow, so it's only one way for the people to walk cross over and one way back to the ranger station. And we have Vina Drive is originally a lot of macro photographers. They come here to look for small critters, and there are a lot of very nice things to see. And then we have the Thompson Nature Park. Old Upper Thompson Road used to be a two-way road, means you can enter and exit on both ends. Thompson Nature Park is a very big development going on down here, and so it's highlighted in purple. And there's a lot of historical sites that are like highlighted along the trail. They built the whole park connector, which is open at 24 hours. So a lot of joggers and cyclists, they use the PCN, and that's the entrance to Upper Pierce. We actually have a lot of very good forests within the vicinity, and there are quite a number of rare records along the area. And on top of that, we have the Mandai Track 7, which is now a hotspot for macro photographers and birders, because now after COVID, more people have turned to wildlife watching as something to pass time and maybe to spend your time worthwhile while stuck in Singapore. So in a day, you can see birds and butterflies and maybe langurs, and in the night you have mackerel and herbs is a reptile and amphibians. So there are a few freshwater streams, and we are actually very close to the Nee Swamp Forest, which is the only swamp forest. There is also woodcutters trail, which connects from Chestnut, which is at the side Upper Pierce, and Upper Seletar is actually very near to these places. So that's why, even though it's a very small road, all the diversity are just in the forest, so much of it. I've actually come here quite a lot of times and have seen a lot of changes along the road. Mandai Track 15 is actually a biking trail and open 24. The reports have shown more roadkill happening over the years because they are building this new geological park called the Rainforest. So that the Jurumpa Park is actually coming to join the tree park that is already built here. Singapore Zoo, Night Safari and River Safari. Chestnut Nature Park, Dairy Farm, Bukit Timah also have bits of primary forests as well. I would say it's a quite nice place to see plant and the actual forests, because they have nice trails that they originally do not build anything until, because of erosion and compaction, they decided to change some of the trail and start adding a lot of boardwalk. So a lot of things actually have changed. And for Bukit Batok, is very urbanized. It's one of the most disturbed part, and there's a lot of human traffic, but actually there are still actually some wildlife. Okay, so here passageways. There's a lot of birds to be seen here, like the spotted woods owl, raptor, crested goshawk, and in the past there were a lot of egrets and herons nesting, but they have moved on. And the whole for mangrove patch, one of the most productive places in Singapore, where you can find the highest number of snakes in one night. You see a lot of nocturnal life, and you can see fireflies. In Singapore, we have about 5 species of mangrove snakes, so you can actually see all of them in just one boardwalk loop here. I have showed you different wildlife spots. There are only few places that are only open at night, like the passageways, or Upper Thompson Road, Upper Seletar, Mandai Track 15, Bukit Batok. Oh, sorry to add, Ulu Sembawang Park Connector is for Pulau Ubin, least urbanized area in Singapore, and you can go there at night. You can stay over, or you can charter the boat back. These some of the rare birds that are visitors. At night, you can see like the quail or the greater mouse deer. Pulau Ketekon also actually have quite a lot of wildlife, but unfortunately it's not accessible to public. But they have surveys conducted there, so they come up with a lot of cool findings, and they came up with a list and chat list and species that can be found there. Yeah, that's about the places that you can go at night. So this map created by Lepak in Singapore is very useful. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. They already classified in different categories, so you can check them out. I'm just gonna bring attention to some of the areas that are more popular, starting with the Clementi Forest. Because of the hype of drone footage, give it movie theme like Jurassic Park with the mist and the sunlight. A lot of people like to hike there. Trails are very eroded now, and the whole place looks very different from the original. And nearby we have the Dover Forest, which is now divided into two, called the West and the East, and the HDB decided to leave the West alone for now, developing the East side. We have the Tenga woodlands, which HDB planned to remove 90% of this whole place. Close to where I live, Bidadari Park, which used to be a very popular birding spot in Singapore before COVID, and I didn't get a chance because I was not into birding back then, but I do regret because I've never been there, not even at least once, but that's already gone forever. Rife Ruins Park, they are basically changing the whole thing into a park now. Have the Google search image of the Kanji woodland being cleared, so you can see the whole devastating clearing. It was just all gone like that, many years to grow, and it was actually done by mistake before and after. Oh, it's pretty crazy. Gone. We have come to the end of this video, and we have shown you that where are the forest areas. I know there are a lot of different parts that I have not mentioned, but those are not of priority that I had to show you. In this next video, I'll be focusing on smaller part of these forests and maybe to share more what I have observed in the past few years and how it have changed over the years. Thank you very much.